Premier's residence, government purchased land to expand Bath Cemetery, and disaster stakeholders sharpen skills at three-day workshop. Regionally, pastor among 6 detained as Trinidad police rescue 69 people from modern-day slavery at church facility. Internationally, Trump donors charged in campaign finance case. And in sports, women attend first Iran football match in decades. We'll have the details to these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, Vaughan.
Welcome back, and now the national news in detail. In the last few weeks, there have been speculations over the Nevis Island Administration (NIA) purchasing land to construct a Premier's residence for the Premier of Nevis. However, speaking on Tuesday's edition of the Let's Talk program here on Vaughan Radio, heavyweight panelist the Honorable Spencer Brand said that the government purchased the land to expand the Bath Cemetery here on Nevis.
The government would have purchased some 16.5 acres of land. I think it's the Ursula Huggins property there in Bath and around the Bath area. And the figure is 1 million US. The idea was the government was seeking to purchase some land to expand the cemetery. The information is that it was either all or nothing, and that all of that property encompassed the entire estate of the late Ursula Huggins.
On the contrary, heavyweight panelist Dr. Patricia Bartlett questioned the veracity of Mr. Brand's statement.
So that is what it was. The purpose was to expand the cemetery, and it's a cemetery. Not that I have no disrespect for the dead, and I don't necessarily want to be buried on Topno Hill. When we heard about it, is because there was some urgency to repair the residence. So to come now and tell me it's because you wanted 1 acre of land to expand the cemetery, I do not think that is being as forthright as you could get.
The VON Newsline understands that there has been a letter circulating in the public domain, particularly social media, pertaining to the aforementioned matter, but panelists on the Let's Talk program, having read the contents thereof, discussed what the letter entailed, and there was not anything in the letter indicating that a Premier's residence will be constructed. During his On the Mark program on Wednesday evening, Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley, addressed the matter and debunked the allegations.
I hear there was some foolish chatter about Mark Brantley and his government buying some land and some house to get house for the Premier. I had heard something some weeks ago, but I did not pay it any mind, because I said to myself, since I have known myself, God has blessed me with a roof over my head. I consider it a privilege, but I have a home. When you go in the registry, ask them about Ilang Ilang, and you will see there on the title, Mark and Sharon Brantley. That, through the grace of God, belongs to me and my wife. So what are you trying to say? That me not have nowhere to live? What nonsense.
He added that government has no plans of building such a structure.
If even there was a structure somewhere that was the Premier's residence, it don't belong to Mark Brantley, you know. Sim Daniel was a Premier, Vance Amry was a Premier, Joseph Parry was a Premier. Premiers come and Premiers go. That is the nature of life. So if a building is put up as the Premier's residence, clearly for official purposes, what is the problem with that? The government has no plans to do so. But I'm simply saying, if even that was done, whether by us or another government were to decide to do so, what's the problem?
Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley. A 3-day training workshop aimed at sharpening the skills of disaster stakeholders to respond to disasters in the Federation's territorial waters will end on Friday, October 11th. Participants are from the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, St. Kitts Nevis Coast Guard Unit, St. Kitts Nevis Fire and Rescue Services, SKNFRS, St. Kitts Nevis Red Cross Society, Her Majesty's Custom and Excise Department, the Emergency Medical Services, EMS, and the United States Navy ship USNS Comfort. Deputy National Disaster Coordinator for NEMA, Clarissa Langley Stevens, said the workshop is one that brings all of our national stakeholders together who have responsibility for responding to any threat or impact of a natural disaster or a man-made disaster. Participants have engaged in several events, including shipboard firefighting, rescue swimming, and deep water diving. The training is supported by the USNS Comfort, NEMA, and the government of St. Kitts and Nevis. The St. Christopher and Nevis Social Security Board continue to make significant contribution towards the education sector in the Twin Island Federation. The board on Tuesday, 8 October 2019, presented 11 students with scholarships as part of its Susanna Lee High School Scholarship Program. The ceremony, which was held at E. St. John Payne Annex on St. Kitts, saw scholarships being awarded to Tikwan Jules, Jadea Williams, Sequinia Descent, Tijeja Liward, Zion Gift, Ayana Mead, Alia Elliott, Terencia Wiggins, Alicia Jalim, Naela Maccabee, and Shaniqua Davis. Senior Minister and Minister with responsibility for Social Security, the Honorable Vance Amory, who was present at the ceremony, congratulated the awardees, noting that this is a tremendous opportunity. Minister Amory also encouraged students to remain diligent and to work hard in achieving their goals. According to the organization's site, the scholarship, which began in 1983 when the Social Security Board decided to make a valuable independence gift to the government and people, is geared towards assisting students who would have difficulty keeping up with the financial demands associated with a secondary education. Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris announced during the 2019 National Consultation on the Economy of the Federation a program geared towards assisting persons with health regardless of their financial position. The consultation was held under the theme, The Digital Economy. At the forum on October 8, 2019, stakeholders were afforded the opportunity to discuss the growth and transformation of the digital economy and its positive impact on business and society. Here is Prime Minister Harris.
It is our plan, very shortly of course, to introduce a comprehensive health insurance program for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. So whether you're rich or you're poor, whether you need treatment inland or overseas, some financial support will be there for every citizen and resident in St. Kitts and Nevis. And when we deliver on that, we will be the first country in the OECS and perhaps within CARICOM to have provided this kind of health delivery to the people of their country.
Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris. Director for Counseling in the Social Services Department, Ms. Michelle de la Coudre Blake, discussed the awareness initiatives being taken by the department to sensitize vulnerable groups of the events leading to suicide and how to identify and prevent them. In this week's edition of Working for You, hosted by Kilroy Johnson, Ms. Coudre Blake stated that suicide is not a major issue in St. Kitts. However, she highlighted the awareness efforts of counselors to sensitize a target group, school students.
We know that they address them in fora with all students. We know that they address them in small groups. We know that they address them. And it's important because bullying is one of those things. You talk about 15 and 16. These are the stages for children when they are becoming whoever they are becoming. So there's that sensitivity to how their peers accept them and view them. 15, 16, you know, you want to be part of your peer group. And so when there is bullying behavior or behavior that excludes you from the peer group, sometimes as adults we are insensitive and we say, don't worry with that, just be a leader and don't worry about that. And so we really minimize something that is very real for a 15 or 16-year-old.
Ms. Kudre Blake also indicated whenever a situation that can potentially lead to suicide in schools, the guidance counselors and other mental health response groups are prepared to address such cases.
So in terms of the whole mental health response, we include the guidance counselors in school as a part of the mental health response. And I would say the schools have done an excellent job of continuing to make sure that their guidance counselors have awareness, have training, have sensitivity to issues. The guidance counselors work very well with the clinical mental health team. So the guidance counselors work well with us in counseling department, they work well with the hospital staff, meaning that there have been situations where they've asked for collaboration on certain things, and we have done that.
Director for Counseling in the Social Services Department, Ms. Michelle Della Kudre Blake. Today, Thursday, October 10th, was the final date for the U.S. naval ship USNS Comfort to conduct its health mission in St. Kitts and Nevis. It is a Mercy-class hospital ship or a floating medical treatment facility. As part of the visit to the Federation, a health mission was conducted from October 5, 2019 to October 10, 2019 and was held under the auspices of the United States Embassy in Barbados. This was also part of the U.S. Southern Command's Enduring Promise Initiative. There were two components for the mission, namely a land-based medical mission and a ship-based surgical mission. The medical mission included the provision of health care at two following land-based medical sites in St. Kitts, the Antioch Baptist Church grounds in Limekeel and St. Paul's Community Center. The USNS Comfort arrived in St. Kitts and docked at the Deepwater Harbor Birdwalk on Thursday, October 3, 2019, and will depart our shores on Saturday, October 12, 2019. A release from the Foreign Affairs Department indicates that the Embassy of St. Kitts and Nevis in Cuba continues apace with its efforts to effect an improved service and hence product geared towards the clients for whom it caters and in deference to the government and people of the Federation it represents. The Embassy will be holding a training and professional development session for staff on Friday, 11th October 2019. The theme under which the event will be held is Enhancing Embassy Output through Employee Training and Professional Development. Activities at the seminar includes a formal session of presentations and discussions, promotional videos of St. Kitts and Nevis, opportunities for staff to interactively identify areas of challenges in the modus operandi of the Embassy and recommend strategies for change and improvement. According to the release, the program is a period for the members to relax and more informally be entertained while deepening and strengthening bonds of fraternity. Finally, the United States Embassy will conduct a consular outreach of American Citizen Services for U.S. nationals residing in St. Kitts and Nevis. Sessions in St. Kitts will be held at the Marriott Resort on Monday, October 14th, Tuesday, October 15th, and Thursday, October 17th, 2019. Here on Nevis, the session will be held at the Alexander Hamilton Museum and is slated for Wednesday, October 16th. According to a notice from the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, persons wishing to make appointments to access the services or to cancel appointments can do so at nvisa.state.gov/ACS/default.asp postcode capital BG2 and app code =1. That's the national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com or check us out on Facebook at Von Radio or our Von Radio YouTube channel for these and other stories. News from across the region is next.
Life can be more fulfilling when we take the time out to smell the roses. And that's why your friends and family at the Bank of Nevis are experts at picking the flowers that best describe you. Whether you're planning to treat yourself after a long work week or finally getting around to that closet update, you deserve all the special things that life has to offer, and the Bond Visa card is here to help you achieve it. With just a swipe, you can turn a last-minute lunch date with friends and family into something worth remembering, with memories that will last a lifetime. Pampering yourself just got a whole lot easier, and after all, you deserve every refreshing moment of it. The ability to make your travel arrangements at your own convenience, whether by sea or by air, now rests within the palm of your hand. With a single swipe, the Bond Visa card can put a world of difference between life and truly living, whereas the only limits you may have is your own imagination. Apply today. The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life.
Welcome back, and now the regional news in detail. Out of Trinidad and Tobago. Police in Trinidad and Tobago on Wednesday morning said that they unearthed modern-day slavery at a church's rehabilitation center, rescuing 69 people who had been held in captivity and arresting a pastor and 5 other people. The revelation from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, TTPS, followed a sting operation coordinated by the Commissioner of Police, Gary Griffith, and executed by the Special Operation Response Team SORT at the Transform Life Ministry Rehabilitation Center on Eastern Main Road in Arouca. The rescued people, all citizens of the Twin Island Republic, included 65 men and 4 women ranging in ages from 20 to their 60s. The TTPS said in a statement that they were all held captive. Most of them were in cages and some handcuffs. Commissioner Griffith said on the scene some of the people had been at the facilities for years. Out of Jamaica. Former Education Minister Ruel Reid is in police custody as law enforcement authorities continue investigations into allegations of corruption, fraud and misappropriation of funds at the Ministry and the Caribbean Maritime University, CMU. Police confirmed that several people were arrested and taken into custody for further questioning when at the same time searches were conducted at 4 locations in St. Andrew, St. Catherine and St. Anne early this morning. Several items including documents and electronic devices were also seized. While no names were released, multiple media reports said warrants were executed at Reid's home as well as the residence of CMU President Professor Fritz Pinnock and the former minister and 2 family members along with the university president were subsequently detained. The Financial Investigation Division, Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency, and the Constabulary Financial Unit of the Counterterrorism and Organized Crime Division conducted the operations, which began at 5 a.m. to target the main suspects implicated in a multi-million-dollar corruption and fraudulent schemes penetrated at the Ministry of Education, CMU, and other government entities falling under Reid's portfolio. Out of Antigua. In what appears to be a complete 180-degree turn, Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister has quashed plans to purchase Barbados shares in Castrap Liat. Instead, Gaston Brown said he will make a direct investment. He said over the weekend that he has told Prime Minister Mia Mottley that Antigua and Barbuda has found $40 million to pump into Liat and no longer wants to buy Barbados' shares. According to Brown, the money is to come from a loan from the Venezuela-based Alma Bank. I have indicated that the Antigua and Barbuda government has $40 million that could be made available to capitalize Liat, and that there should be a fresh capital call in which we will have the existing shareholders and possibly new shareholders recapitalize Liat, he said. This, according to him, will be followed by a restructuring of Liat to ensure that it becomes a little leaner and to ensure that it can at least make an operating profit going forward. He said while there will be further discussions, The idea that they will purchase Barbados' share, that is no longer on the table. Finally, out of Montserrat, when the ruling People's Democratic Party, PDM, seeks a second term in office in next month's general elections, it will be without Premier Donaldson Romeo at its helm. Romeo, who formed the PDM ahead of the 2014 elections, announced today that he has been replaced as party leader by Minister of Communications, Works, Energy and Labor Paul Lewis as internal election held yesterday. The development comes 2 days after Romeo announced November 18th as election day. Lewis accepted his new role with the utmost humility and an overwhelming sense of duty and responsibility to the people of Montserrat. He thanked PDM members for deciding to place their confidence in me to lead our party in this upcoming general election, and also expressed profound thanks to Romeo, whom he said had navigated his way through the challenges the PDM met when he took office in 2014. In the upcoming election, the PDM will face Montserrat United Labour Party, the Movement for Change and Prosperity, Montserrat National Congress, and several independent candidates. That's it for our regional stories. Stay with us for news around the world. Welcome back, and now the international news in detail. 2 Trump donors have been charged with violations of campaign finance laws, New York prosecutors say. Soviet-born businessmen Lev Parnas and Igor Fruman conspired to funnel foreign money to candidates for federal and state office, says the charges. The pair have been associated with U.S. President Donald Trump's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani. They have been peddling corruption claims against Democratic White House contender Joe Biden. The 2 are expected to appear in federal court in Virginia on Thursday. The Trump administration's role in Ukraine are at the center of a congressional impeachment inquiry. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Zelensky has said there was no blackmail in a phone call with Donald Trump that is at the heart of a possible attempt to remove the U.S. president from office. This is not corruption. It was just a call, Mr. Zelensky said on Thursday. The call prompted a whistleblower complaint and Democratic impeachment inquiry of the Republican president. Mr. Trump denies withholding U.S. aid while pressuring Ukraine to investigate political rival Joe Biden. The U.S. Treasury has imposed sanctions against the Gupta family and an associate over alleged corruption in South Africa. The sanctions were targeted at brothers Atul Ajay and Radish Gupta and South African businessman Salim Essa. They are accused of using their friendship with Jacob Zuma, South Africa's former president, to profit financially and influence ministerial appointments. The accused have denied any wrongdoing. The BBC's Will Ross reports.
These sanctions, which have been welcomed by the South African government, freeze any US-based assets belonging to the 3 Gupta brothers and the businessman Salim Essa. American and international firms with subsidiaries in the US are effectively banned from doing any business with these 4 men. They're accused of conspiring with the former president Jacob Zuma to get lucrative government contracts, leading to the disappearance of billions of dollars of public funds. The Guptas, who deny any wrongdoing, left South Africa in a hurry, and the scandal cost Mr. Zuma the presidency.
Finally, heavy fighting is reported in northern Syria on the second day of a Turkish offensive into Kurdish-held areas. Turkey says it has seized a number of designated targets and killed dozens of Kurdish militants. Tens of thousands of people are reported to be fleeing their homes, and Kurds report several civilian deaths. More in this BBC report.
The Turkish president has been defending his country's invasion of Syria as international concern grows. Turkish troops have now captured a string of border villages, and they have established safe corridors between key towns. One source says they intend to besiege the towns in order to avoid house-to-house fighting. The Syrian Kurds are continuing to warn about what all this could mean for the fight against Islamic State. They say they will have fewer guards for IS prisons, and a top Syrian Kurdish official warned today that that could lead to a jailbreak.
That brings us to the end of our news segments. The latest in sports is next.
Upgrade or renovate your business or home office space? Then this information is just for you. TDC is having a massive furniture sale. Yes, the prices have been slashed. Save up to 20, 30, 40, 60, no, 70. Save up to 75% off office furniture. Visit our office furniture showrooms today in St. Kitts and Nevis. See stores for details. Offer good while stocks last.
Welcome back, and now the sports in detail. In football, Iranian women have attended a World Cup qualifier in Tehran after being freely allowed to enter a stadium for a men's match for the first time in decades. Women have effectively been banned from stadiums when men are playing since just after the 1979 Islamic Revolution. The change followed the death of a fan who set herself alight after being arrested for trying to attend a match. But Amnesty International described the move on Thursday as a cynical publicity stunt. The human rights organization said there were only a token number of tickets for female fans, as it called for all restrictions on female attendance to be lifted. More than 3,500 women bought tickets to Thursday's World Cup qualifier against Cambodia, where they were granted access to a special women's-only section of the Azadi Stadium. The stadium has a capacity of 78,000. In football, Neymar has earned his 100th cap for Brazil after starting in the friendly meeting against Senegal, becoming the youngest player to achieve the milestone for the Seleção. The Paris Saint-Germain forward, who made his debut for his country in 2010, joins an exclusive club in reaching the century, moving up to joint 6 on their all-time most cap rankings alongside Robinho. The 27-year-old is now the second centurion in the current squad, alongside defender Dani Alves, who moves on to 117 appearances after being named in the starting 11 for the friendly clash in Singapore. The other 4 players to have played over 100 games include record holder Cafu with 142, Roberto Carlos, Lucio, and Claudio Tarafel. Finally, in athletics, on Monday, the first Kenyan to ever win an international athletics medal, Mezi Batonjo Rotich, breathed his last. Batonjo, who is famous for bagging a bronze medal in the Commonwealth Games in Cardiff, Wales in 1958, died peacefully in his sleep at his home in Baringo North at the age of 82. The Cardiff competitions in which he won was Kenya's third international athletics competition, having participated in Commonwealth Games in Vancouver, Canada in 1954 and the Olympics in Melbourne, Australia in 1956 without any medals. Banjono broke that drought. In November 1960, Batonjo went to Cambridge University and later in Oxford University, where he studied public administration. He was elected in February 1971 to become the chairman of the Kenya Amateur Athletics Association, where he served for 5 years. That's it for the sports segment. The general weather forecast is next. Welcome back, and now the local weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. Weather tonight, mostly fair skies. Weather tomorrow, partly sunny skies in general, with only a 10% or slight chance of a brief shower. Wind southeast at 4 to 10 knots, becoming variable or calm overnight. Seas 1.5 to 1.8 meters or 5 to 6 feet, with northeasterly swells of 1.8 meters or 6 feet. And sunrise tomorrow will be at 6:03 a.m. And that's how we wrap up the major news package for today, Thursday, 10th October 2019. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, Premier's residence. Government purchased land to expand Bath Cemetery. And disaster stakeholders sharpen skills at 3-day workshop. Regionally, pastor among 6 detained as Trinidad police rescue 69 people from modern-day slavery at church facility. Internationally, Trump donors charging campaign finance case. And in sports, women attend first Iran football match in decades. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Tammy Reed, wishing you a pleasant evening.